Hey guys, it's Destiny, and today I want to discuss how quickly you'll be able to obtain your first 5-star, or in this game they are called S ranks, in Zenless Zone Zero based on official information we have, and then also which characters I personally value and recommend the most from these standard characters. Before we get into today's video though, let me know which standard S rank character is your favorite. Mine personally is definitely Rina, and if you guys enjoy videos like these, make sure to subscribe to win your first 50/50 in Zenless. Leave a like to support the video, and now let's get straight into it. To begin, I wanted to go over all the rewards we will be getting in Zenless. We will be able to get 100 total pulls and 80 boo pawns, which this is stated it'll be from login and events. So this will be separate from the pulls you'll get, for example, from the story in Zenless Zone Zero, which I think this is great as it'll allow us to get a lot of pulls in version 1.0. For the rewards we will be getting, it'll be 20 master tape, 5 boo pawns, 30,000 Denny's, and 1 copy of Korin, which will be our way to get a free Korin. These are the pre-registration rewards, and the boo pawn can be used towards the Bang Boo banner, while the 20 master tape will be used towards getting your first standard S rank in the game. For the next reward, if you log in during version 1.0, so essentially right at the game's launch, you'll be able to grab 10 more master tape from this special gift event. You'll be able to also get 10 limited pulls, which are encrypted master tape, by logging in for 7 days straight, and you can use these pulls either for Ellen, the W engine banner, or saving them for once we get Julian's banner. After that, there is going to be another 7-day login reward, which now gets you 20 total limited pulls for free just from login events. I'm not done just yet though, there will be a third 7-day login event, but this time for boo pawns. The last 2 things that were shown is that we will be able to redeem the code ZZZFree100, and you can redeem this right when the game comes out, so if you guys are watching this a bit later, you should be able to go redeem that right now. There will also be level up rewards for reaching certain level up milestones, and this is where it really matters. The main one you'll need to focus on to get your first standard S rank character will be level 5, as you'll be able to get the last master tape you need to guarantee your first S rank. And since we did get confirmation, we can actually skip the story if we choose to. For those who have multiple accounts and want to try their luck to aim for the character they want the most, the process should take roughly 20 to 30 minutes based on how long it took to reach level 5 in the previous betas. It just depends on how quickly you actually go through the combat that you do have to play through in the beginning of the game before you get to level 5. And in my opinion, this is a pretty short amount of time, but a great way to acquire an S rank character very early on for your account. From that point on, the way to of course get your S rank will be pulling on the standard banner after reaching level 5. You'll be able to get all the necessary pulls needed, and you will also unlock summoning at that point in the game. Just for those who weren't aware of the banner, it'll take 5-10 pulls, but since the banner is discounted for every 10 pull you do, it'll only take you 40 total pulls. Overall, the banner is very similar to the discounted banner at the beginning of Honkai Star Rail. As for each of the standard characters you'll have a chance to acquire, it'll be Lycaon, Koleda, Rina, Grace, Soldier 11, and Nekomata. I have made a video on each of these characters if you'd like to check that out afterwards, but for a quick overview on all of these characters, Lycaon will be an ice stun character who excels at being able to quickly build the daze meter, which will stun enemies, and this will immobilize enemies and allow the team to deal increased damage to that enemy for a period of time. Koleda is a fire stun character who is also good at stunning enemies, and she's the only character in the game that actually has special combos with a character by the name of Ben. Rina is an electric support character who's able to fight enemies using her puppets and is able to provide pen ratio to the team when her puppets are on the field. And this is essentially defense ignore in Zenless Zone Zero, and she is also able to provide electric damage buffs when she has a character of the same faction or attribute on the team with her. Grace is an electric anomaly character who specializes in quickly triggering attribute anomaly with her fast-paced attacks and high mobility. Grace will throw grenades at enemies, and once enough attribute anomaly is built up, enemies will become shocked. And if another character of a different attribute is on the team, they can trigger disorder if they apply their own attribute anomaly onto the enemy as well. For example, Grace applies shock onto an enemy, a team member applies assault, which is physical attribute anomaly to an enemy. This will deal massive damage to the enemy with the effects of disorder. As for Soldier 11, she's a fire attack character who is able to deal physical attacks, but if you time her basic attacks a certain way, you'll be able to deal fire damage. Soldier 11 can also gain fire suppression from her skill kit, and this consists of her using her ultimate, EX special attack, chain attack, and so on. Fire suppression will guarantee a set amount of her basic attacks to be fire damage, and she will also deal additional damage when this is active. As for Nekomata, she is a physical attack character who specializes in fast-paced combat and is able to increase her own damage by using, for example, her dodge counters. As a result, you'll want to take advantage of her fast mobility and dodge counter to deal damage onto enemies very quickly, as well as avoid damage taken from those same enemies. All of these characters have their own perks and benefits, as they all have teams they can be played on, and the best choice of course would be getting the character you are most interested in gameplay wise as well as design. But if I had to give my personal recommendations on which standard S-rank character I value the most based on their kit, team potential, and also getting to play them, I would say I have roughly 2 or 3 options I would recommend. One of my recommendations would be Lycaon. He is part of the Victoria housekeeping group, and he is able to provide insane amount of days onto enemies with his skill kit. His charged basic attacks can boost his days dealt to enemies, and he is also able to increase the stun damage multiplier onto an enemy. So when enemies become stunned, and as mentioned a bit earlier, they will take additional damage from this. Lycaon will allow this multiplier to be even higher with his skill kit, which can benefit the entire team's damage output when an enemy is stunned. On release, Lycaon will also be one of Ellen's best partners. She is an ice attack type character and is able to deal massive amounts of damage with her skill kit, especially with high uptime on her flash freeze stacks. When it comes to team building with them, they both will be able to give each other their additional abilities due to being part of the same faction or attribute, and Lycaon's additional ability is that increased stun damage multiplier, while Ellen's will allow her to increase her own ice damage in battle. The third slot can honestly be flexible. You can use a character like Sokaku, who is a ice support who can increase the attack of an ally and also the ice damage of the team, which if you do use her, you can create a mono ice team featuring Ellen, Lycaon, and Sokaku herself. This more than likely will be one of the strongest teams on launch. Lycaon will be your stunner who can quickly build up days to stun enemies, and if you mix in his charge attacks as I mentioned, you'll be able to stun even faster. Then you'll be able to trigger a chain attack once the enemy is stunned to quickly go into Sokaku to get her buffs active, and then your chain attack can end with Ellen, where she'll be able to take advantage of the additional days multiplier on the enemy from being stunned and Lycaon's passive, as well as the buffs from Sokaku's kit, and now your Ellen can deal massive amounts of damage right away. Once I release my Ellen guide, it'll show more rotations and detail on how to do them. If you don't use Lycaon with Ellen though, he can still provide good value due to him being able to stun enemies quickly. Ideally though, you do want an ice ally or a Victoria housekeeping ally alongside him so that he can get his full passive, which outside of the ice characters can make your options Rina or Korin. Speaking of Rina, she is one of the standard characters I would highly recommend. She is personally my favorite due to her design, but also the buffs she can provide from her skill kit. Rina is able to buff the electric damage of the team, once again if you pair her with another electric character or someone of her faction. This is primarily just another benefit for electric team, but what makes Rina very useful is the pen ratio that she's able to provide for the team based on her own pen ratio amount. Pen ratio can benefit majority, if not all damage dealers' output, just because you're going to be able to ignore those enemy defenses. This honestly makes me think of Pela from Honkai Star Rail. Pela is able to massively reduce all enemy defenses with her ultimate, and she was a 1.0 character, yet she is still a very valuable character to have and build even now in version 2.3 of the game. Characters who can reduce enemy defenses are more of a universal asset to have on a team comp, as you can slot Rina as one of your supportive characters on the team and be good to go. As a result, she has a very flexible spot on team comps, and as mentioned before, her additional ability is just primarily a buff for electric teams, but she is not restricted to those teams due to the pen ratio buff being part of her base kit without needing any additional allies to enable this benefit. I personally believe that Rina will be a very valuable character in the future as well, and could be a great pickup for any of your earlier teams, but also benefiting you in endgame as well. I would say for a notable mention, it can be Grace. Grace being able to build attribute anomaly the way she does is pretty good early game due to how many machine enemies you will be fighting, and electric characters doing very well against them, especially if they are shocked. When it comes to Grace's future potential, depending on how much they intend to expand upon attribute anomaly, which I personally think they definitely will, and how many future synergies as well as synergies on launch she has, she could have a very nice spot when it comes to being able to trigger Disorder very often with other characters, and this will be good for damage output, based on what we know of course about Disorder so far. Nekomata is a nice physical DPS option and can be a great option, especially if you intend to skip Ellen and Juyeon and want a strong damage dealer who has great mobility. Soldier 11 can be good as a fire DPS, and of course Koleda as your stunner, but I will say I do believe the other options I mentioned do possess more value, especially in the case of Rina for future potential overall. That's my personal recommendations though, and as I said, ultimately getting the character you want to play and have fun with will be the best way to go when it comes to your experience playing a game like this. I am very excited for Zenless's release later today, and let me know in the comments down below which S rank you guys want the most. If you guys did enjoy this video though, leave a like to support the video and stay tuned for character showcases, guides, and much more. I hope to see you all next time. Peace.